Welcome to Environmental Science 102. This is the orientation where I'll go through some of the details in the course. You can revisit this slide stack without the narration by going to the PDF version of that. This course has several basic themes that run throughout the whole course. We're going to start out with identifying different types of environmental problems. And in particular, we're going to analyze these problems in terms of what's the impact on the environment based on increasing population, increasing levels of affluence and consumption, and different types of technology. These can both be good and bad. And one of the things we're going to look at in many case studies and problems is can we lower the impact by using smaller technologies? That is, scale-effective technologies might be at a human or community scale. And these are particularly effective in small communities and in developing countries where they don't have the large amount of energy and large amount of resources to work with anyway, so small approaches might actually work and lower the impact. We're going to look at all of these problems that were environmental problems related to impacts from multiple perspectives. We're going to intentionally try to explore and analyze the problems from using different cognitive techniques, and this will help us gather a wider range of information and potentially avoid some common traps. Those common traps are things like unintended consequences that make the problem actually worse than you started out. And then we're going to look at a variety of approaches to these problems that we can take either as individuals or within our community or broadly as a society, and how do these help us engage with these problems. And finally, in the evaluation, but we should keep it in mind all along, we want to be able to know that we're doing the right things, that we are improving the environment and we're not just technically correct on our approach, but actually improving the overall environment. So running through the course, we're going to look at problem types starting out in week 1. And these are problem types based on how much knowledge or uncertainty we have and what's the role of human values in these problems. And then we're going to explore the data and analyze information on particular problems as case studies. And we're going to use several cognitive tools. These are stock and flow systems, scale, such as the size and rate of processes, optimization for efficiency. Environmental accounting turns out to be very important in deciding what to do. How you count and measure the outcomes is very important. And finally, worldviews, that is, coherent sets of values, intellectual approaches, and information that people make decisions on. And then we're going to look at some approaches to these problems. Those will be creating scenarios for what may happen in the future and analyzing those, sort of a look forward, using multiple criteria to negotiate between different stakeholders, and environmental entrepreneurism, that is, bringing small business to bear on environmental problems. Now, the course has a separate lecture and laboratory sections. You should be assigned to a lecture section and a laboratory section. And the lecture section, each module is just like a week. And when you look at a week module, you should see everything you're supposed to do for that week. There'll be narrated slides like this one. There'll also be a PDF version of just the slides. There'll be some reading that you're supposed to do in the text and in other sources such as Wikipedia and Encyclopedia of Earth. There'll be other assignments to study, which could be videos or simulations. And then over the week, there's going to be 2 graded assignments. One is a multiple choice quiz that comes up on Friday, but you should probably do it earlier. And the other is the crux questions, which are key, bringing together the information about environmental problems and these cognitive approaches. So if you work through these in each item in the order as you see it in the table of contents, it'll really help, and then you also won't miss anything. Now in the lab section, there's essentially a weekly presentation and worksheets, and there's 3 workshops where you perform scientific observations on key issues of energy, water pollution, and the integration that happens in agriculture. Okay, now the resources for the course in general use D2L mail, send the questions to the professor or the GTA, and use a meaningful subject line. This is important, otherwise it'll just get skipped over. There's a class bulletin board, and you can post questions about the course or answer other students' questions. It's not for personal items or opinions, but more for, I'm trying to find such and such. Does anybody know where that is? It's more likely a student could be right on top of that and help you out with it. And for each module, there's going to be an introductory movie, short statement of the purpose of the union, and learning objectives. Those should also be good as study guides. The graded assignments, like I said before, there's the content quiz, multiple choice. Questions are probing for whether you get the best answer. I'm not trying to make tricky questions, but they will be maybe challenging to sort out between several alternatives. And it's due by Friday night, 11:59. If you wait too long and something happens, either with your technology or something else, that's your risk. So you can do it any time before then. And the score is released immediately, but after 11:59 on Friday, you'll be able to go in and see the answers and the responses to your particular selections. The crux question is taking the intellectual approaches we took each week and the information and bringing those together. And the question is, can you put those together and can you make a statement on your own? They're due Sunday by 11:59 p.m. and the comments will come back to you as they are graded. That is, after the quiz is over, I have to grade these. Comments will be available sometime during Monday. Okay, the laboratory assignments, again, happening each week on the D2L part of, section for the laboratory. You'll read the introduction and view the narrated presentation, read the instructions or the background for the worksheet that you're going to do, and do the activity. And these link to 3 workshops that require you to do field and data collection. That field and data collection will be shared with the whole lab section, and those will be aggregated, and you'll be able to analyze the entire class's data. Okay, your responsibilities. If you stay on top of the course material and devote time to studying the quizzes, that'll really help. And time management is the key. If you're good at working on things in the late evening, that's fine. But if that's really your tired and throwaway time, that's a bad time to be studying for this course because it takes some concentration. So be sure you have access to technology that you can depend on. You can check the D2L site for the level of browser you have, right? When you log in, there's a little thing that tells you can check in. And you should also have an alternative plan in case your internet connection fails or your particular computer fails. What can you do? Can you get someplace in time to do the quiz and get the assignments done? To start out with, you should run through all the course materials in the orientation and make sure you know how to navigate around D2L. There's going to be a separate little video thing for navigating this D2L to show you where to click to get the course content and the calendar. But if you're familiar with that, that's not a big deal for you. And if you have a problem with the technology or the course, you should contact the help desk or the instructor. And with the other thing is to use the bulletin board, the course bulletin board, to notify people right away there might be a problem. Then if there is, we can try to get it fixed. So getting started, work through all the documents in the orientation section. And there's a lot of details in the syllabus and the lab section syllabus, but those are important to know that they're there because that's where we explain the grading and how the course works. Then take the orientation online quiz in D2L. It's worth 5 points. It's going to be the easiest 5 points you're going to get in the class if you do it. Otherwise, it's too late. You miss it. And then start preparing for week 1 by getting familiar with the material. And with that, I just want to wish you good luck and I hope we have a good term together.